All right. Hello? Okay, let's get started. Okay, this slide shows you how solid landfill, okay, how solid waste, landfill, leachate, wastewater, treatment plants, and water body are connected. Okay? So, first off, okay, this trunk, okay, take a look. This trunk, disposal, okay, dump all the solid waste in the landfill, right? Here. Okay, direct disposal in landfills, right? And the waste, can be divergent, okay? Divergent and the treatment, okay, for what? For energies. The water divergent means, sorry, not water. The waste divergent means some waste can be used for energy. Okay, can be used for energy or even some resource recovery. Okay, so as I say, don't dump all the waste to the landfill. Okay, you dump waste in landfill, that's the least measures. That's the least measure, 最后的手段. Right? Some of the waste can be used for energy or resource recovery. We call this waste divergent. Okay, we call this waste divergent. 那个 Stone 你来一下哦，这支麦克风根本没有声音啊，你帮我换一支好吗？帮我换一支，根本没有声音。你刚刚拿2支上来好了。Okay, some waste can use for energy or resource. We call this divergent. Okay, we call this divergent. Okay, so first, some solid waste goes to landfill, right? The solid waste, let me use the rate. Solid waste goes to landfill, but some of waste can be used for energy or resource, right? And it's always, leachate will be produced, always. You cannot prevent this. Okay, you cannot prevent this. Okay, and what can we use for the waste diversion? We can use anaerobic biotechnology. Okay, which means we can use anaerobic digestion. Okay, we can use anaerobic digestion. In this process, it can produce some energy. Okay, without oxygen, it can produce some energies. Okay, how come? In forms of biogas. Because in this process, in this anaerobic digestions, it will produce some biogas. 在这个厌氧的一个 digestion 会产生 biogas, and those biogas can be used for energy purpose, right? Okay, so solid waste go to landfill. Okay, solid waste go to landfill, and landfill generate leachate. And some solid waste can go to water, west diversion. And normally we use anaerobic treatment for it. And it can generate some biogas for energy. Understand? Okay, the effluent here is not carrying water. Not carrying water. This is just the remaining. Okay, the effluent here, for example, like the effluent here, the treated effluent here. This one is clean liquid, but the effluent here is just some remaining liquid. Okay, just some remaining liquid. Although you already removed most of waste. Okay. If this guy, this just remaining. If we say this is the treated. If we say this is a traded effluent, okay, if we say this is the traded effluent, okay, if you see traded, that means clean. But if this one just say effluent, okay, if the effluent is not treated well, it must still carry some pollutant. Okay? So if not treated well, it might still contain pollutant. 谢谢。Okay, if not treated well, the effluent still contains some pollutants. Okay, so some wastewaters from the urbans, right, can still enter. So this is containing effluent. So normally wastewater from city. Okay, wastewater from city and leachate from landfill. Okay, wastewater from cities and leachate from landfill. Okay, so WWTP, this stands for wastewater treatment plant. And the effluent here, student, the effluent here, I think this is clean, so you can put treated here. So, student, you don't need to spend too much money for this effluent, right? Because this effluent will still mix. Student, all the students that's not here, you don't need to spend money or spend your effort for this effluent, right? Because this effluent will still mix with the wastewater from cities. Understand? If you make this very clean, it doesn't make sense. You will get contaminated later. What you need to do is your final. Okay, your final one. Okay? So you can put treated here. I think the liquid here is very green. So, student, listen up here. So the lithium will enter the resource recovery, right? So if the influent is still very dirty, you should go to here for water treatment. Okay? Very dirty. Okay, if this is still very contaminated, oh, so if this is highly contaminated, you still need to go to here. If this is less contaminated, you can just drown it in the water body. Water body means river. Okay? So the influent here is still not as clean as the treated influent in the after the treatment, after the wastewater treatment. Understand? Because here we do not have wastewater treatment, we just have some resource recovery. So if the influent is still very dirty, okay, it's still very dirty, highly contaminated, you should go to here for water treatment. If the influent is not that dirty, but acceptable, okay, less contaminated, acceptable, you can just drown it in the water body. And some students might say, oh, why not we just put another wastewater treatment here? I think it's money matter. You're gonna spend lots of money. Understand? Because you already do some resource recovery. Okay? You can choose. It's still very dirty, you just go to here. Okay? But it's not dirty. It's acceptable. Then you can just drain it, okay, into the water body. Okay, so this is the typical lithium treatment plants. Okay, so some procedure. First one is called equalization. Equalization means collect lithium in your tank. Okay, and mix it. And mix. Okay, this is so-called equalizations. Okay, so the purpose, how can we call this equalize? So we try to balance the flow rate and pollutant concentration. Okay, so equalization means we collect lithium in a tank and mix it. So we try to balance the flow rate and the pollutant concentration. This is the purpose. And the second step is oxidation reduction. Everyone know about it, redox, right? So it's a chemical reactions, right? So we want to change the lithium. We said lithium, some lithium contain very toxic substance, right? So in this process, we want to convert lithium into less harmful. Less harmful. Less harmful. Okay. We want to make the lithium less harmful. We want to reduce toxicity. Okay? We want to reduce toxicity. And the rest of it is pretty much like the typical water treatment, right? Precipitations. Okay, precipitation means we try to remove solid by sedimentation, 沉淀下去 right? Or filtration. So this is the purpose for precipitation. Fluctuations. So for fluctuation, we want to make the subtended particle easier to remove. Okay, we want to make suspended particle easy to remove. That's fluctuations. So for fluctuation, we add some chemical. Okay, for example, if we add some polymer. We add some polymer, and those polymer will combine with the small particle in the wastewater, become something called frogs. Then it's easy to remove those frogs, right? Precipitation means 沉淀 by gravity, right? Fluctuations means 你加入一些聚合物还是什么的，让它形成一个叫 frogs， 这样你比较好移除。So after fluctuation is cementation. Okay, so that means may I use? That means water will enter what? The water will enter clarifiers. Water will enter clarifiers. Okay, to separate. The water will enter clarifier to separate solids from liquid. Neutralization means we try to adjust the pH around 6 to 8. Okay, we just try to adjust by adding acid or adding alkaline. Okay, granular-mediate filtrations. Okay, so actually we use a filter. Okay, we use a filter such as sand, right? Such as sand. Okay, the purpose is we try to use sand, 沙子, right? We try to polish the treated lithium. And remove fine particles. Okay? All right? Okay, I'm gonna skip this. Okay, next slide. It's very important. Okay, one day when you become a city mayor or any leaders, okay, that you need to choose a landfill. Okay, there are some restrictions for landfill. For example, like prohibit means no. You cannot sell a landfill near an airport. Understand? There's no way to establish, to build a landfill near airport. Why? Because those waste will attract birds. Understand? Okay, because those waste, organic waste, will attract birds. I think that's a tragedy happened maybe 1 year ago, 1 or 2 years ago. Korea Air, right? Got air crash due to the birds. Okay, so you cannot set your landfill. You cannot sell your landfill. You cannot place your landfill around the airport. And also, you cannot locate. Okay? And also, it requires the landfill to be located outside the 100-year floodplain. 如果这边曾经发生过水灾，100年内不可以建垃圾填埋场。Okay, it requires the landfill to be located outside the 100-year floodplains. Prohibit again. You cannot place the landfill on the wetland. The reason is you will pollute the water body. You will destroy the wetlands, 湿地啊。You will destroy the wetland and contaminate the water. Prohibit 200 feet from earthquake ground. Okay? So, the landfill should not place in an area with high probability of strong earthquake. Okay? Prohibit in an area high probability of strong earthquake. But it's not suitable in Taiwan. Because in Taiwan, every place got high probability of earthquake. Okay. And prohibit to place the landfill in an area with unstable soil. What does unstable soil means? That means the soil here contain very soft clay, 很软的泥土 the soft clays, or landslide, pond area. I'm sorry, landslide, 土石流 landslide pond. Pond means 倾向 the trend. Easy to get landslide. Landslide pond soil. Okay, so this kind of soil we call it unstable soil. The soft clays or the landslide pond soil. Okay? Finish? Okay, and some operations requirement. First, you need to extrude. You need to extrude the hazardous waste in the landfill. Okay, the hazardous waste got spatial treatment. We're gonna talk about hazards, how to handle, how to treat hazardous waste in our next chapter. Okay, and you need to provide at least 至少 at least 6 inches daily soil cover. Okay, so 1 inch, so 6 times 2.54 centimeter. Okay, 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeter, right? So it's around 15 centimeters, right? More than that. More than 15 centimeters. The daily soil cover. Okay. So we know that the cover can help us to reduce odor. Okay. And also prevent growing away, right? Control the disease vector. Okay, disease vector means those pests. Okay, include rodent and insect. And we say methane is very explosive, right? So you need to monitor. The methane is explosive. So you need to monitor the methane concentration in the landfill every day. Even this landfill got abundance, no longer use it, you still need to monitor the landfill for 120 years. We mentioned this later. Okay, and you try to remove most open burning. Okay, the open burning means try to remove most open burning. The open burning means burning waste in the open air. So for example, you got too much solid waste, you just burn it in the open area. No, this is not allowed. You need to control public access. Not everyone can go there, unless this landfill got abandoned, and you convert this into a park, ecosystem park, ecological park. And control runoff and runoff of water. Okay, runoff means flow in, runoff means flow out. Meet the standards, okay? NPDES. NPDES stands for national. But the national here means the United States, not Taiwan, not your country. Okay, the national here means United States. National pollutant discharge elimination system. So NPDES stands for National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. And try to prohibit all the liquid waste, because this is for solid waste, right? But you say that eventually will generate leachate. Yes, we know that, but we still want to prevent the liquid waste, okay? Because landfill normally for solid waste, and you need to keep the records, okay? So next slides. We're going to tell you how to design a leachate. So this gonna be the question number 5 in our assignment 2. Okay, what do you need for a modern leachate? Okay, you need synthetic membrane. Okay, we call this niner. At least 13 mile thick, one mils. 1 mil means 0.001 inches. So 13 mils. 30 mils means 0.03 inch. Okay, you need a membrane. Okay, you need a membrane. Okay, normally made of HDPE. This kind of membrane normally made of HDPE. And the soil liner. Okay, you need to have a soil liner. The soil liner requires at least 2 feet thick. So 1 feet is close to equal to 30 centimeters. Okay? And hydraulic means water. Okay? Hydraulic means water. Hydraulic conductivity must be no more than 10 to the power of -7 centimeter per square. Okay, so hydraulic conductivity means how easy water can pass through material. Okay, hydraulic means water, right? Okay? And some other state-approved design, for example, like the design standard, the landfill must design ensure the you also need to concern the drinking water standard. Okay? And normally we will design with a composite liner. Okay? So the composite liner means okay, the composite liner means we have two layers. We have a synthetic membrane liner plus compact clay liner. Okay, we call this composite liner. Just like this. Okay, just like this. You need a synthetic like this. You have synthetic membrane liners, and you also need to top up with a clay liner. Okay, so next slide I'm gonna show you what kind of liner that you can choose. Okay, so A is a compact plate. A is a compact plate. Usually it's around 0.6 to 3 thick. Okay, the reason we use clay is used because water moves through it slowly. So water moves slowly in the clay. Okay, water moves slowly in the clay. So, okay, water moves slowly in clay, just write this down. So let me write down the purpose. So first off, we can put some compact clays. We try to slow down leachate. Movement. Right? Clay need to. You know clay, right? Sticky soil. So for the compact plates, you can slow down the movement of leachate. Second, you can put composite liner. The composite means combined. So as I say, it's gonna contain synthetic liner and a compact low permeability soil. So the purpose is to prevent leakage. Prevent leakage. 渗透. Prevent leakage. Prevent leakage. And this is better than just single synthetic. Okay, we have a double liner and a single liner. Okay, double liner and a single. Double means 2 layers, right? 2. Double means 2 layers. Like this. Okay, so one with leak detection zone. You have two synthetic liners, but one with a leak detection zone. So the good thing for the double liner is you can do detections. You can detect and collect. You can detect and collect at the same time, right? And the single synthetic liner, this is the very basic one. If you don't have too much money, student, if you don't have too much money, your budget is limited. 如果你预算有限, all the pollution is not very serious here. Okay? All the pollution is not very serious here. You want to make, you are very sure the solid waste here do not have very toxic. Then you can use single synthetic. Otherwise, I suggest you use double liner, raise up a little bit money. Okay, in the future, okay, some of you in the future might work in the government. Okay, if you have mission to build up a landfill, okay, and if your budget is very limited, then you use a single synthetic. But if you find out this area is very highly polluted, then you should tell your supervisor, we need to upgrade. Okay, we need to upgrade to double liner. Okay, this is the best one. Okay, this is the best one. Double composite. Okay, so this is the best one, double composite. This one is two synthetic liners plus low permeability soil plus leak detection zone. But of course, you're gonna spend more money. But you might persuade your supervisor, say, the one landfill will use for a long time. Right? One landfill might use for 30 or even 40, 50 years. So you need to persuade your supervisor, we need to upgrade. Okay, for public health, we should spend more money and upgrade to double composite. Understand? But money matter, right? No more, you have budget, okay? We have budget. Okay, let me summarize this. So, compact layer, this is natural. This is natural barrier. But slower and less reliable. So this probably is the old-fashioned, the traditional landfill, if you don't have too much money. Okay, if you don't have too much money. Okay, so I put one. This is the worst. The one means worst, not the best. Okay, I put one here. The worst. Student, one means worst. 一代表最烂的啊。Okay, then you try to talk to your supervisor. Your supervisor, so okay, I raise the budget. Okay, raise a little bit. $100. Raise a little bit. Then you can upgrade to single synthetic, but still not good enough. Okay? Then you talk to your supervisor's wife. Just kidding. You talk to supervisor or supervisor, okay, then the supervisor or supervisor say, okay, I give you some more money, then you can upgrade to composite liner. Okay, number 3. But later you find out this area is very contaminated. Okay, so you talk to the supervisor or supervisor say, your family will drink very dirty water. Then you upgrade. Then you say, oh, my family, so give you some money, then you can upgrade to double liner. Okay, one day the president visits your office. Then you talk to president, right? This area is very contaminated, but budget is limited. So president say that I give you more money, then you can upgrade to the best one, the double composite. Understand? So the worst one is compact clay. Second worst is single synthetic. Number 3 is composite liner. Second best, double liner. The best one, but the problem is you gotta spend more money. The money matters. Okay, the best one is double composite. Of course, everyone wants to use double composite, but it's money matter. Okay, and you also need to consider the area. Does this area require composite, double composite, or the composite will be good enough? Understand? Okay. For example, if I want to build a landfill around the TSMC, right? TSMC, right? Taiwan Semiconductor Company. I will talk to the president of TSMC. Okay. He's gonna give you a big budget and say you should upgrade to the best one, the double composite. Okay. So next I'm gonna talk about the method of landfill. Okay, let's have a short break. Now it's 3:12. Let's have a short break until 3:20.